Talk Radio, Stinger, run. You've got to let it operate. It's my hope that this thing works and it's not too much of a stress inducer.
Okay, so welcome everyone. This is Into the Abyss, episode 4. We're trying to utilize a new service here. It is not going well. We had about an hour and a half to set up, and I spent an hour and 15 minutes playing Minecraft while Brandon did all the work, and I did not familiarize myself with the platform whatsoever, and I don't regret a single moment. And so if it seems like we're out of commission here, a little woozy, wobbly, maybe a little confused, dazed, perhaps, that would explain. I would basically just blame it all on Brandon personally. That would just be my
That's
thing.
very fair. That's very fair. And what's cool is our listeners will tell us if the audio is terrible.
Now, we haven't determined if you can hear me or not. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrea, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I can hear you both, so I don't know why.
It sounds a little like I'm in a cave, but hopefully we're doing both. And everyone on Blog Talk hears us, and everyone on StreamYard hears us, and we're all winning.
But yeah, we're trying to set up a live caller feature, and it probably will not work. But if you would like to live call in with this feature, you can call the number down below, and we'll see what we can do. We'll see how this works.
You may or may not be able to talk to us tonight.
Yes, and honestly, I'd rather just use Discord. But what are you gonna do?
Discord a lot easier. Well, for the hosts, but if you're like a Zoomer, if you're a boomer,
that is true. They don't.
And you're a boomer and you're hearing us talk about age discrimination, and you're like, I don't want to join a Discord. Leslie, how was joining Discord for you? Like it was rough.
Discord was actually very, very easy. And I'm not before we go there, I'm not a boomer. I'm not a boomer. I'm a Gen X. Oh. Thank you. Let's be precise here. But that is what we wanted to talk about today, at least in the beginning. I wanted to talk a little bit about age discrimination. And then we were also going to talk a little bit about, I guess it's now called blackfishing.
Oh, jeez.
Blackfacing, one of them.
I've seen blackfishing. I mean, I know blackfacing, but blackfishing is what I've heard as the new term for white women who are pretending to be black online or in their...
Me every other weekend?
I so want to see that.
Nobody's doing that unless it's getting them a promotion. That's one of the reasons why people are mad about it, is it's something that's only happening in academia. Nobody wants to pretend to be like a black woman that's making the fries.
No, but did you see what's her name? That crazy lady who she started off. The crazy lady. What is her name? She started off blonde and she wanted to have the world's largest boobs.
Miley Cyrus.
No. No. It's not Miley Cyrus. She went for the world's largest boobs, and then she turned herself black.
Right.
It just looks like she's just looking for any kind of style.
Do you have a name so that we could look?
I'm trying to find it right now. Let's see. Here she is. Why does it not give her name anywhere? Martina Big.
Okay.
What is her name? I'm sorry.
Well, personally, I would say you should be sorry, just as a just to set a precedent here. If you're trying to give some sort of reference onto the broadcast, it's probably best.
I thought I saw her name off the top. No, her name is Martina Big.
Martina Big.
Black. I've seen it in two different places as Martina Big and Martina Black.
Martina Big Black.
Yes,
I see.
Yeah.
Which is what she made herself.
Wanted to be the big black.
She made herself a big black.
Her real name is probably like Josephine or some shit.
No, it's probably like Karen.
Well, I looked that up.
Yes.
I have no further comment. But
see, I don't have. That's the other thing that I wanted to do Can you put that up on the screen? Her picture? Can we do that?
Oh, yeah, we can. Oh, good Lord. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, this is... What's happening? I don't want to listen to our... We've got Andrea's fans are in here, and they're very hardened warriors of the internet. But for our audience, trigger warning. Okay. What's happening there?
A whole lot of mess.
Why is this happening?
She's from the UK, and she originally wanted to have the world's largest breasts, which...
And that wasn't enough clout.
No. And so if she doesn't, she's close. And then she decided that she felt more like a black woman, so she did that.
She did that, is what you're saying.
I don't know how you do that.
What even is that? I don't even know what it is. Not like how you, but what is being done?
I don't know. So this is not academia. This is just crazy.
So for this, guys, men, men love big old titties.
Oh,
I've never, but it's very rare you hear a man that's like, I want the biggest titties in the world. I want her to be crippled by like back disorders. I want them to be bigger than her chest and my chest. I want them to be completely unfunctional. I saw on like Discovery Channel, they had a dude that was the biggest dick in the world. This shit looked disgusting. It looked very uncomfortable. Looked like the dude needed help.
There is something to be said about too much of anything.
Yeah. Too much money.
Too much money, too much titty, too much dick. That is a thing.
Oh.
And I showed my husband this, who is a boob man, and he even said,
Preston, that's too much boob for anybody. Like, that's too much.
Right, okay, can we please change the subject? I can't right now. I'm not in the proper framework of my mind. My clarity is very unclear. This is something I wasn't prepared for. This wasn't on the prep sheet that we have here when we have the show topics. And so I just threw it at me, and I just wanted to be honest.
Have you considered her body, her choice?
I am anti-choice in this instance. I have to say, I think we live in a society.
Yes.
And
All right.
think there are limits.
We live in a society.
Yeah, I think there are limitations to that society that I do not choose to be on the actionable side.
I personally think it's her body. She can do what she wants, but
we can dunk on her.
I was going to say, but don't be upset when people make fun of you when you've done something that extreme and that outrageous to your body. Just like with what's her name? Rachel Dolezal?
Dolezal, yeah.
Who is that?
Rachel Dolezal. She was the former NAACP leader who was pretending to be black, but wasn't.
Can we get that up on screen?
Yeah, can you pull her up on screen? Most people will know her.
Yeah, I can find Rachel Dolezal. She's very famous.
I've heard the name before, but I don't recall.
As soon as you see her, you'll know who we're talking about.
When you see her face, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, this woman."
And I just want to know, when the hell did it become cool to be an old black woman? Because it ain't doing shit for me.
Yeah, that's because Rachel Dolezal, I think, has like an education and stuff. Like all these white women that are doing this.
Wait. So you're telling me because I'm not as educated as them? That's
yeah, exactly. Once you get high enough in academia, it gives you clout points to be a black woman. Otherwise,
well, here's the thing: Leslie did write a book. Like, wouldn't that be enough to get into that kind of because not everyone has do you need to write like 3 books?
I can tell you that that's not enough because I tried to get the NAACP to promote my book and they said no. And my book, and the reason why I tried to get the NAACP to promote my book is because it's about dementia in the black community, and there aren't any other books about dementia in the black community.
Right.
And they said no, they weren't interested. Even though we're 3 times more likely to die of a dementia than other races. But they didn't want anything to do with it.
the NAACP has an overwhelmingly older donor base. And in order to get anything done, you've got to get approval from like 4 different people in NAACP. I was literally talking to a YouTube maker named Molitics, who lives in the Appalachia region, and she's a black woman and is in the NAACP, and was just talking about how it is very bureaucratic, and if somebody doesn't like what you're doing, they can just kind of put a kibosh on it pretty easily.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they didn't mind what Rachel Dozer was doing for a decade.
Well, yeah, exactly, because she was in that academia world. And this is so real. I was literally talking to somebody today just about how so much of white people's psychology is around getting the last promotion, specifically white women. And that idea of being objectively qualified for a position, and it's a position that they really need and want, and they just can't break that glass ceiling for that last job that they want.
Is this like the Elizabeth Warren kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just that professional striving. And it's also maybe part of why Ruth Bader Ginsburg is so beloved, because she got to the top promotion. And it's also why they get pissed off when you say, hey, she should have quit. Mm-hmm. Because she's like, man, if I were to get the top promotion, I'd never let that shit go.
But that's a bit of ageism. If she was still capable of doing the job, then she should have been allowed to do the job.
Well, she did the job and then she died, and now a Republican's going to get the roles. So
I totally get that, but that's a separate conversation. Should justices have term limits? Yes, but that's a completely separate conversation than what we have right now. And what we have right now is until death do us part. So
no, you can quit. Kennedy.
No, I know. I know.
Justice Kennedy quit. Yeah. So, but all of these guys, these Republicans, they are all playing a totally different game. Mm-hmm. They're trying to like win these seats, and apparently the Democrats are worried about like their personal fulfillment and shit.
They're worried about their Wikipedia page. And
yeah, exactly.
Blurbs they can get. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I don't know about that. I don't know. It depends on how the
what is the WW vote?
White women. If you don't know WWs by heart, what are you doing, Andrea?
I'm sorry, I didn't know that was something.
This time.
What?
Help. I said you're canceled this time.
I'm canceled? I didn't know. I thought it was WWW. I thought we were on the internet.
White women whining is WWW.
Okay.
No, but ageism, I mean, it's seriously, it's a thing everywhere. And I'm sure, Andrea, you've dealt with it from the younger perspective, being 24, where I deal with it from the other perspective, being 53. And especially from my perspective, like people expecting me not knowing how to work things because of my age. That has nothing to do with my age. I'm just computer illiterate. I'm trying to learn. It just takes me a different process to learn. But people automatically, as a matter of fact, I lost a job that I believe was due to my age because they had me do a working interview, which actually I think is bullshit because I didn't get paid. And all they kept asking me was how comfortable I was on the internet, working on a computer, learning new software. And I'm like, I had to learn the new software at the job I have now. So,
well, I mean, you lucked out because they almost asked you to like make a Twitter account in less than 30 seconds.
I did make that Twitter account and then it disappeared. So
they would have, okay, I think the test would have been, can you make a Twitter account and then log into it? I think that would have.
I can log into some of my Twitter accounts. I just can't get into the back end of a couple of them. And that's, they tell me
you can get into the front end of your Twitter account. Is that?
Yeah, but that's not me. That's not me. And that has nothing to do with my age. Because Brandon said the same thing. You guys watched me make that account.
Yes, you did.
Watched what email address I used. And then it told me I didn't exist.
You worked very hard on that. And that happened to me too.
Yeah, so that's
well, it's never happened to me. So I, as far as I'm concerned, I think both of you are illiterate, and I think I'm.
Mike, you're not watching the show. You're not paying attention. I don't know who has to say this. She's Gen X. They're two different generations. there's no overlap between them mentally, spiritually. They're so different. Once you're Gen X, you are cool, smart, and enlightened. Think about it.
That's correct, actually.
Excuse me, Destiny Lee's. Can you put up Destiny's? Since I don't have access. Well, no, listen. I did not lose my job because of my age. I was interviewing and did a working interview for a job that I did not get because they were worried about my comfortability with computers. I was working at the time, working with computers.
Thank you, Destiny.
If Destiny, if you would like to call in, yeah, we can definitely get a live conversation going on here. Might be a little easier because I know this has some delay, maybe like 45 seconds or something, and that can be a little awkward when you're trying to make fun of the streamer for being a boomer, and then you type it out, and then like by the time they see your comment, they've already gotten to the point in the story where it proves that they've been screwed over, and then you look like an idiot.
Yeah,
and honestly, I'm looking out for you. Like I already know Leslie's a boomer. I already know that. Right. But I'm looking out for you. I want that information to get out there and not be tainted. You know, I want that info to be out there without the turd in the punch bowl, if you will. And you're really, you're really kind of making this difficult here. Cause I had the whole boomer joke lined up. I had the Twitter account thing, you know, I had her right there. And then now you'd make me look bad by proxy. So it's not cool. It's not cool. But if you want to come on conversationally, maybe we can have some live.
Thank you, Daniel.
So let's talk about ageism. Where else does that's funny. One thing that can be said about we've got to read this because we're also doing a radio show. Ha ha ha. One thing that can be said about Generation X, and this is Daniel S from YouTube, is that they've had to deal with the damn boomers longer than anybody.
Exactly. Boomers were our parents.
You're survivors, and you're going to make it. Way to go, Gen X.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
Boomers were our parents, and we've been dealing with their shit for our entire lives. So all you millennials and all you Zoomers whining about boomers, yeah, welcome to our pain.
But here's the key difference. We're actually doing something about it.
Yeah, you're committing more ageism. That's not the thing that you're supposed to be doing.
Gen X, they're close to boomers.
I didn't say that I didn't do it.
They're close to the boomers. Get out of here. You're canceled.
No, you know what? We all do it. We absolutely all do it. Many of us do it in dating. People think I'm crazy because I'm 53. My husband's 37.
They think you're crazy winning.
No, they think I'm a cougar, but I'm not. I didn't go looking for someone younger. I just happened to meet someone younger and fell in love. That's it.
I mean, I'm very skeptical of that. I think citations are definitely required in order to investigate that and give you a clear, because I don't know. To me, it seems like you could have just been doing it on purpose.
What, met my husband?
Do you like having a younger husband?
Is that something you're interested in? Like you keep talking, like every episode you talk about your husband. What is that?
Because I'm a newlywed and I love my husband.
Okay. All right.
Owned.
All right.
You love someone. Wait, so was there some appeal to it for you?
For him being younger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like,
attitude.
Oh yeah, because
so you're agreeing with me in that younger people actually are doing stuff and that boomers aren't.
I mean, could you imagine if you were dating this is ageism. Imagine if you were dating a boomer, you'd hate it.
I have dated all the way so I was single for 4 years in between my first two husbands. In that portion, I was 40. And I dated everything from 21 to 72. And it had nothing to do with age. It was just people that I met and I liked and whatever.
Okay. Well,
I try not to think of people's ages, although I did in the very beginning turn down all the young guys that were asking me out in the beginning because I found it weird.
So, then you fully came to terms with your place in society?
I don't know about all that. I just said, fuck it. Why not? It wasn't that deep.
Well, listen, and Joe points in ageism show trashing boomers. Think I'll take my second nap. So it's funny, Joe, we really wanted to have a boomer on the show so that we could have a boomer, Gen X, millennial, Zoomer panel. So
whoa! I am not a Zoomer.
Yes, you are.
Of nature. I identify as a millennial. I'm right on the line. I get to pick my identity, and I identify with millennials. It's 1996. I was born in 1996. I can go either way, and I reject Zoomers. I didn't start using the internet till I was 12. Whereas Zoomers are born and raised online.
Joe, you can literally call into the show and be a part of our panel, and you can give the older gentleman perspective on our show and how things work and how your life is going and how ageism has attacked and harmed our left-wing boomers or whatever it is. You can do it. Yeah, just hit that number right here.
Am I allowed to say this on air?
Yeah.
516-387-1336.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get 1337. I know we tried. I know that was something that we were in the talks with for a while, but unfortunately they just couldn't do it.
There was a bidding war.
Yeah.
Andrea started selling her precious objects.
I started selling my sealed copies of Mega Man X.
And we just said, no, it's enough.
It wasn't worth it. I pulled the auction. I had to take a little bit of a cancellation fee, but honestly, in the end, it was worth it.
So, more of ageism. The only bad review that we've got, the only 1-star review that we have for our podcast is from a boomer who was upset because we were making fun of boomers during the early times of coronavirus. And Leia is a very rude person, and so she was doing boomer remover. That was her. Do you remember this was early on when you could make those jokes because nobody had really died en masse yet. So it was that little stage where people were like, this will be bad in a couple of weeks. And everybody was just coughing on each other, breathing on each other. And
now the boomers have their last laugh as all the kids are back in school. So owned. See, this is the thing. I'm a millennial. I'm not in school.
Fine.
So I'm evolved. Whereas Zoomers, they're in the classrooms. They're packed in like sardines up in there. It's not good. It's not good.
Hey, to our viewers, if this sounds fine, could you put a thumbs up in the chat? If this sounds totally normal to you.
What is it not supposed to sound normal?
It should sound great. I'm just making 100% sure.
What? Okay, this feels like is this even a broadcast? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's reorient. We're getting back on topic here. All right, ageism. We're talking about white women who are LARPing as another type of women. And so that's our show today. We're attempting to utilize a platform called Blog Talk Radio, and they are helping us out here. They got us a phone number that it appears that no one is going to use because no one really cares about us because this podcast is garbage. As you know, as you would know if you were listening to this, which chances are, assuming you can hear me say this, right? You are listening to this in some form. And if you weren't paying attention, I understand. I've been right there with you. I honestly don't remember the first 15 minutes of this, but
sorry.
All right, Leslie, how you doing?
I'm just hanging back watching you two go at it.
Okay, all right.
That's what I'm doing.
All right, everything normal? Everything okay?
Me? Yeah, I can hear just fine.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not seeing if anybody else can hear.
Okay, everything should be fine.
Okay.
All right. That was fun.
What was fun? Is it over? We've only been on for 20 minutes. What do you mean?
No, the show's still going. I left the room for a minute.
You left the room?
Yeah.
Okay, so Leslie, this is your show. This is, at least ostensibly, this is your show. This is, let's talk about this. You're a person.
Yes,
You've been alive for a considerable amount of time.
I just have to say this. I love inebriated Andrea. Go ahead, Andrea.
I'm not sure what that means, but So yeah, you've been around for a considerable amount of time. You've been here. I don't know how. I don't know why. But you've managed to make it this far, and you decided, you know what? I'm a narcissist. I want my own show. And so now that the show is happening, you're just kind of taking a back seat. And I would like to put you on the spot. I would like to see what it, because I would not be here if you didn't want a platform to say things on. So this is your show. What do you have to say?
I'm just laughing because I haven't been able to get a word in edgewise.
No, I'm giving you the floor. Now you're trying to. What is this? Like, is this a battle of like ping pong or something? Like I'm giving you the pong and you're pinging it back.
What? I don't know. Andrea, you've got to slow down.
No, I am attempting to get this podcast on the rails.
This is literally my birthday episode, but it's not me.
There should literally be a voice in the back of your head right now, Andrea, thinking, nope. Am I too high right now? Am I too high for broadcast?
As far as I'm concerned, that there is no answer to that question that would prevent me from speaking. But again, I'm trying to give Leslie the floor here. Like she's smiling. She's got a lighter in her hand. I don't know what she's going to do with that. I think maybe she should call the cops or something.
Randy, you understand what I'm seeing, right?
Absolutely.
No. Okay. So it is. I'm just saying, it's getting a little hot in my room. So I'm going to go turn my air conditioner on. I will be back. Probably within 15 seconds. Okay. So I would like.
Let's just let her vibrate.
Hello. So this is Leslie's show, and I want her to speak. So I haven't yet to go on my expedition. Okay.
That was a very lot of wind up to let you speak.
Yeah, it really was.
Hell no.
I love Andrea. I really do.
Wow.
I'm sorry, everybody, but that was a ride, man.
That was a ride. That was some shit straight from Six Flags. So before Andrea gets back and just ruins,
I need a cigarette after that.
I'm already back.
Oh,
God
shit.
damn it.
So again, I'm really trying to. Okay, so we're on Blog Talk Radio, and this is I did not. No, here's a funny story. So today I normally do YouTube videos, right? And today I decided, you know what? I'm going to be like I'm 6 years old. I'm going to play Minecraft all day. So I woke up and I played Minecraft all day. And then Brandon sends me a message like, "Hey, call this phone number," and I'm freaking the fuck out because like I just decided, I had like a almost utilized like a thing that you could light on fire for some particular purposes. And before the show, or before I came upstairs, right, I was like, oh, I got a little bit of that left, so I'm going to utilize that. And that can give you some context for this evening. And then Brandon's like, call the phone. And I'm freaking out because, I've got anxiety. I'm a typical young kid. I can't talk on the phone. I can blog about wanting to
like most Zoomers.
No, this is a millennial thing. This is a millennial thing. This is what would happen to people that were around.
Andrea,
anyway,
can I shortly interrupt you? We have a similar phenomenon with both people.
You have a what?
We have a similar phenomenon because Leslie is not a boomer. She's Gen X.
That's correct.
And you're not a Zoomer. You're a millennial.
Exactly. I am not a Zoomer.
No, she's decided she's not a Gen Zer.
Well, I get that decision. I get that decision.
So there's that.
My birth date, my choice, as they may say. So Brandon tells me call this number, and apparently Leslie has been wanting a call-in system. I see. My thing is like that's such a bad idea because then no one's going to call in, and then we look like idiots, and then we look like complete fucking dullards. Like we just sat here, we did a whole show with a phone number on the screen, and no one's going to call. Right?
Well,
like
listen,
that's embarrassing.
With Andrea here, she has. Wait, that number will come back. It's fine. You're dragging us, so I want to respond. You have your own call-in segment, and it's just trolls. You just have so many right-wing trolls. And it's like having your own call-in show, except You know how Neil Bortz would have like once in a while would bring on a lib?
I don't know who that is.
Neil Bortz, your commenters know who Neil Bortz is, but Neil Bortz, right-wing commentator, had like a radio show and would just come in and talk about Obama. Today Obama's tearing everything up and we've got to hold on to our freedoms. But anyway, Neil Bortz would have a left-wing caller on once in a while and always made sure that it was like a dumb person. I want to give you some context. I was doing a stream the other day.
And I had a bunch of Trumpers in, and I was like, okay, I've got a bunch of Trumpers in my stream. Let's talk. How is Trump going to win the election without cheating? Right? Like I gave, because I'm genuinely curious. Like, I don't think it's possible for him to win the popular vote or the electoral college. That one, maybe I'll take a convo on, but I don't think it's possible he's winning the popular vote. That's impossible. And so I was like, all right, what's Trump's path to victory? And I've got like 15 boomers in the chat room. Well, they support Trump, so I assume they're boomers. Like, they might just be 30 and just don't know how to use a keyboard. But I try not to think about that. And they kept saying, he's not Biden. That's his path to victory. He's not Biden. So him being not Biden means that he's going to win with people in Wisconsin at a considerable margin, I guess. And then I asked them, it's like, if being not Biden means you win, then how is that going for Jo Jorgensen? Because she doesn't look like she's winning.
Well, Andrea, just on a similar perspective, you got to remember that these people who we're fighting over in Wisconsin already voted for Obama twice. And clearly Biden was not that objectionable. Because they again voted for Obama twice.
Well, that's the thing, because Biden is going to win, right? And I'm just like, okay, maybe he's not. Well, Leslie,
I don't think so, and I don't think so.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, we finally got the boomer that I can talk to about. No, I'm so sorry. Whoa, you gotta.
Okay.
All right, 1v1. Let's get some background music going on. All right. I don't know how to do that on StreamYard. Let's go.
So the reason why I don't think that that's happening is because of the conversation that we had earlier, because of the two-part question that I posed today on Facebook.
Yes, I'm listening.
You could call me a boomer because I do Facebook and not Twitter. I used to do Twitter.
Absolutely.
I'm too long-winded for Twitter. I'm sorry. I just am.
That's okay.
Maybe that's my age.
That's fine.
Did you just start playing the NFL?
That was not me. That was Brandon. I think Brandon likes sports. I'm not sure.
I like sports too.
But utilizing something that's probably copyrighted to, impact my YouTube channel, because Brandon's kind of a destructive person. He's got problems. And I was like, you know what? I'm a little high today. Maybe I'll have Brandon come on and produce. And that's not going well. I can see him in the StreamYard thing. He's grinning. I don't know why he's doing that. And so I'm just gonna bring him on. See, what are you doing? You're looking like you're having a good time.
I was, and now you're holding me accountable. This is not what I signed up for.
Okay, so Biden is going to lose, Leslie, and that is the case because.
So today, in 6 different pages, I posted a 2-part question. The 2-part question was, for my Biden voting friends, do you think Biden needs the progressives or the progressive vote to win? And if you
I'm real quick. So your friends are of what age demographic?
Well, these are not friends. That's just the way I posted it.
Okay. So the people that you're reaching out to in your network
could be anyone.
Do you think they're older, like skewing maybe, like
I've
seen
the
people you went to high school with,
No. I have no high school friends on my Facebook.
No high school friends. Okay.
None.
All right.
I did a great culling of 3,000 people.
The great culling.
Great culling.
We'll talk about that in another episode. Okay.
Yeah. So no. I did post it on my page, but then I posted it on pages like the TYT page or the TYT page.
Okay, so you're trying to get like a general audience here. You want to generate some discourse. You want to maybe get a post and then you can advertise the show. No, you don't want to generate this. So you're asking.
That's not why I did it.
So So you asked a question and you didn't want to have a conversation? Is that trolling? That sounds like
no,
something
that's not either.
That's not what you did? Okay. All right. So you asked the question.
I asked
you didn't want anyone to talk to you about it.
No.
And so, okay, what happened next? What happened next?
Okay. So, two-part question. The first part of the question was, do you think Biden needs progressives to win this election?
My answer is no.
The second part, if you do think he needs progressives, do you think he's done enough to court them?
My answer is N/A, non-applicable.
Okay. So the responses that I got, many were that. No, it really isn't. I'm not drunk or high today.
I am not drunk either. I am on herbal remedies. I do have alcohol at my disposal, but you should have asked me to do that an hour ago. Then I maybe would have done that. But
so anyway, my answers, most of the answers that I got were no.
No.
He doesn't need the progressive vote.
Right.
But the biggest thing that I got were people arguing about the way that I asked the question. They wouldn't answer the question. They just argued about the way that I answered the question or asked the question because they said that I had framed it to hurt Biden.
What does that mean?
The case.
I think it means that Biden is running on offering nothing to progressives, but there's a feeling that he needs every vote he can get. And no one wants to square those two circles in their minds.
So I'm still trying to figure out what the demographic here is of the TYT Facebook page. What else did you have in there?
I had TYT Too Strong.
TYT Too Strong. What is that? Is that like TYT, but like for the people that like them a little bit more? Like, is that like what is that?
It's just another.
They have more than one group.
It's just another fan page. It's just another.
I think they're that important that they can have multiple groups under the same thing. Like they don't have like separate groups for the different shows. Like it's just like you like TYT and then you like TYT strong, like Too Strong.
Joe Fleming from Facebook has asked us define the progressive vote.
That's actually a good point. I would like to echo what Joe is saying. What is the progressive vote? Like, are we talking about Teddy Roosevelt because he's not alive anymore? So I don't know exactly what that has to do.
Andrea.
I'm so sorry.
Good Lord.
No, but
Leslie,
seriously, if you can, what is the progressive vote? Does that include like an anarchist? Am I a progressive?
No.
What am I trying? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to destroy the country. So I'm not really like, what is the progress?
Leslie.
Uh-huh.
Who's progressive? In America?
For me, that would have been Bernie, AOC, but basically the squad. The people who want Medicare for all, the people who want the Green New Deal, the people who want to get rid of student loan debt, the people who want state colleges to be, or state college, public colleges to be publicly funded. Those are progressives. Those are the progressive ideas that I'm talking about. Do we need
publicly funded? Does that mean like, do they like? Is it like a government-run institution? Is the government paying their bills?
Which institution?
Like education, healthcare. Like,
what is? I mean, yeah, generally, yeah.
Or is this like a big tent kind of a thing? Like, if you think everyone should have healthcare, like what exactly?
Are you just saying like pro? Are you talking about like pro Obamacare people? Are they progressive?
Yeah, like what is the?
I do not think pro Obamacare people are progressive because they're fine with it and it's not good enough. So no.
Okay.
Biden is an ACA guy and does not believe in Medicare for all.
Well, I don't know about this. You may not. Biden was talking about this recently at a campaign stop, but he beat the socialists, and so it sounds an awful lot like to me. What you're describing as progressive, you really mean socialist because Biden seems pretty progressive to me. He wants to reallocate police funding. He's He wants to,
No.
Are you trolling your audience, Andrea?
I'm not trolling anybody. I'm just
I
trying
think
to
you're
understand.
trolling me today. That's
really,
what I think this
here's what
entire
I'm trying to
show
do.
has been.
I'm really trying to cut through the bullshit because there's a lot of bullshit on this broadcast, and I just want to know what progressive means. Like, because
Andrea, take a breath.
is it like the Bernie Sanders who never got anything passed? He's been in government for how many years? Or is we're talking about like progressives who like to get things done?
Take. All right, let's take breaths, because you've got Andrea, who's like Hillary Clinton was a progressive and she ran, and she got all the progressive vote last time. And where is it now?
Well, where is it now? I mean, I think we're looking at aspiring Congress people like Richie Torres, who's trying to say he's going out there saying he's a pragmatic progressive. And I really resonate with that. So I'm trying to understand what the distinction is between progressive and socialist. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's a slippery slope. Like you just... I don't know, like, that's why I'm wondering, like, it's because, like, okay, so...
Okay, I'm just going to call this episode a wash.
Oh my goodness.
We're not washing anything.
For the next 20 minutes?
We're not using washcloths. We've already established
don't use washcloths.
No.
Wait, all right. So everybody stop for a minute, because I wanna go back to Leslie's point, which was just about the progressive vote. And that being, we all know what progressive means, except for Andrea and the people in our comments. But everybody else.
Well, they asked. Like, I was thinking of asking.
I'm just talking about Joe. All right. Joe, you're right.
I feel like this episode is not being received in the way that I intend it to be received.
Leslie.
Yes.
Tell part 2 of your story.
I mean, I feel like I could just go. Like I
can you're good. You can go.
And everything would be exactly the same as it has been for the last 40 minutes. I don't think
We've only been live for 42 minutes
at all at this point.
I don't know. I think this is ageism. I think you don't trust what I have to say. I think you're being discriminatory. I mean, you keep calling me a Zoomer when I'm clearly a millennial. So I think there's a lot of problems here, and I think we need to figure out a solution.
Andrew, we're gonna unpack all those problems right now. Okay. So, Leslie, can you tell part 2 of your story?
Okay. So I asked this 2-part question in multiple pages on Facebook. And most of the things that I got back were people that said either no, Biden doesn't need the progressive vote to win, or many just argued with me about the framing of my questions because they felt that I was trying to hurt Biden in the framing of my question. I literally argued with the guy for 7 hours.
Oh, can you imagine?
So let me get this straight. Okay, so you made the post. You didn't want people to respond to the post, and then you ended up talking for 7 hours.
That's not what I said.
And yet I'm being criticized.
Yes, you are.
40
anyway,
minutes.
So Leslie,
somehow it's unacceptable, but 7 hours. Like, we should have just had the podcast episode with the Facebook friend. That honestly, okay.
It wasn't a friend. It was just
they weren't your friend. Oh, were they from TYT? Is that what they were from? That's weird.
It was a TYT. No, not the actual show.
No, but were they from Too Strong, or were they not strong enough? Like, which group were they from?
What is happening?
I don't know.
I want to know
what is happening.
I don't know. Okay. You know what? This is truly Into the Abyss, and we have devolved.
We're deep into.
I just want to know, like,
because Andrea has dragged us in.
Yes.
You specifically mentioned and put a distinctive note on TYT Too Strong compared to TYT, and I'm just curious what that is.
I think it's possible, Andrea, that TYT Too Strong is like the gutter room, like the outer circle.
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yes. As a curator of online communities, you don't always want your inner circle to be exposed to the plebs.
Right. Okay.
And so I think that there's a TYT room that's just for the cool people. And
actually, both of these pages are made by fans. Okay. Neither one of them has an affiliation to the actual.
So is this a situation where like someone was like, "Oh, I was 5 months too late. I'm just going to make my own page. Is that
Yeah,
what that is?
I think that is the deal. I think that is what's
Okay.
happening.
Okay. All right. See that you should have just said that 20 minutes ago. We could have skipped a lot of. Okay. All right. So you asked the question. You got into a 7-hour conversation, which you might be getting into again. So brace yourselves for impact.
What's happening?
So you were in a 7-hour conversation. What happened? They said no to the question.
So Andrea, to save.
Do we have any phone calls yet? By the way, like, bring the number.
Why would anybody?
I want to talk to somebody.
I agree, Mike. Mike Murphy. I agree. I totally agree.
Andrea, the point of running one of these shows is so that people will want to call in and talk to you.
Well, I'm
right now. You look like
you're not being affable.
No,
you're
What?
You're being affable plus Adderall or something.
I've never had Adderall.
Whatever you've had.
What is Adderall? Is that like ADHD medication? What is that?
Yeah, I think so.
Do I have ADHD? Do I seem like I have ADHD?
Right now, yes.
Because there was a couple years.
Right now, you seem like you're on coke.
I'm not on coke. I had a lot of coffee today, but that was like 3 p.m. Anyway, so you had this 7-hour conversation. When I was drinking coffee, you were screaming on Facebook. What occurred?
Deep breath, Leslie.
I've actually explained twice.
So I think, and I'm just going to add my own personal perspective to your story. I think that kind of close in with the Biden thing is the strategy is to win, but give progressives nothing. But they don't want to say that because it's embarrassing. But the strategy is like the election is being run for Republican moderates in the upper Midwest. They obviously need everyone else to vote for it, but the strategy is to get them to vote Trump out.
Well, I honestly think this really boils down to, and this is something that a lot of young people really have a problem with, is Biden does not owe them anything. Like, he is there to get Trump out, and that's what we need to think about. So when you're asking about progressive this, that 7 hours later, like, you act like he's doing something for you.
All right. Deep breath. Leslie, what do you think?
So my reasoning for thinking that Biden will not win is because he is ignoring an entire base of people that I think he's going to need to win. And what really drives me crazy about people who say that Biden doesn't need the progressive vote, if he loses, then they blame progressives. Just like they blamed Hillary.
This is the thing, is I don't think he needs the
Andrea,
vote.
I'm going to interrupt you.
If the vote was that big of a deal, they would have voted for Bernie. They would have showed up.
213. 213, you're on.
Got someone on.
Hello, 213.
213, can you hear us?
I'm hearing echo.
Oh, we can hear you.
Yo, this is sick.
213, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I don't know if you're on the stream.
No.
We've never done this before. I'm so sorry. See, this
I'm
is
not
why
listening to
I didn't
headphones, and I cannot hear him on the screen. So I do apologize, everyone. We're really
figuring this out.
I hear echoes. Lots of echoes.
You hear what?
Echo.
He's hearing echo.
You hear an why are you hearing echo? I'm so sorry. I know I'm making a bad impression. So, like, have you been watching the show? Like, what is your experience?
We cannot hear him on the screen.
Well, I can. Well, I will translate.
Okay, because I can't hear him.
I can hear on the tab. Is that not coming through the stream?
No.
Well, you can, Leslie. Just hang on a second, and we'll take.
Okay.
All right, 213. What's up?
Is this going through?
213. Is this Adriel Hampton?
Is this going through the stream?
But I know about voting Trump out.
So wait, okay, hold on. Hold the phone for a second here. So again, I'm not sure if this is appearing on stream, but just to reiterate, because the stream people say they can hear you, but you're talking about big black women with breasts. Is that correct?
No. Andrea, stop being goofy. Listen. Yeah.
Like I said, today's show is a wash. So we could just talk about whatever the fuck we want to.
Is this Adriel? That makes perfect sense. How's it going over there in California?
It's great. California's great. It's not as smoky as it was. We're kind of just sad that we don't really play a role in this election because we have a broken constitution.
Do you feel like the vice president is going to get over the finish line because you are voting for him and supporting him?
I just want to say I am also voting for Biden. I'm on Team Biden.
Oh yeah, I mean, based on what I'm seeing and based on the last election, I think the answer is yes. Because the strangest thing about America is that the top 5 politicians in America include both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden.
Right.
And I think it's because most people don't know very much, and they just go, "Well, these are nice guys."
And he does have a personality that is branded. People do know his personality.
And another thing that you have to understand is his son just died.
That was a few years ago, Andrew.
Yeah. I think you can keep that going for a long time.
Yeah.
In 2008, I didn't really know much about Joe Biden at all. And when Barack Obama picked him as the vice president, I was like, oh, he seems like a good guy, a nice guy. And I think that's how most voters think.
So can I ask?
And if you talk to the really hard left voters, people just are sick of the Green Party being so stupid. And if they want to destroy the country, they're usually out in the streets and will still vote against Trump because imagine police under 4 more years of Trump, what they're going to do to people.
So can I ask you my 2-part question? Do you think Biden needs progressives to win? And if you do you think he's doing enough to get the progressive vote?
Yes, he does. And no, he is not. His campaign is total dog shit. But the lucky thing is that all the groups that were campaigning for Bernie in the primary are now campaigning to vote Trump out. People don't want to really endorse Biden. Not everyone does, but they really want to endorse getting Trump out. And so the same grassroots groups that helped organize canvasses for Bernie are organizing canvasses for Biden, even if they have to grit their teeth.
And see, my fear is I got so many people who just pushed back on the way that I asked the question that I'm afraid that people are arrogant and think Biden is just going to win just because. I don't know if there are enough people without progressives that hate Trump. I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
The thing here about it is that Trump is really, really bad.
Adriel, actually, my actual opinion, and I probably won't repeat this, I feel like Biden actually can win without the progressive vote. And I do think that there are enough people who were somewhat inclined towards Obama, and definitely did not like Hillary Clinton, but also do not like Donald Trump, that Trump is just up against this wall of his own unpopularity. And a lot of people who voted for Trump because they didn't know anything about him and thought, hey, business guy, business is good, voted for him and will not do so a second time once they've been exposed to him. Some people just like to have a change, and it's been 4 years, and this dude's 4 years, it felt like a decade. And I think there will be a lot of people who will go into the booth and will just be like, I'll just someone else.
Now, I hope you're right, but I'm not convinced. I'm really not convinced.
Percentage of the base. So you're talking about a lot of Democrats not voting if progressives just decide to opt out.
Well,
and are there enough of those business conservatives or looky-loo voters. But I agree that Biden does not have the anti-Hillary vote that was so devastating in 2016.
I'll agree with that. I'll totally agree with that. People there's not such a visceral, like, angry response to Biden like there was to Hillary. I will agree with that. But I still don't know if he's doing enough. And that was my only thing in my question was, is he doing enough? And I got so many people, I got called a Nazi.
Well, the thing is, that's not wrong, because really you are not seeing how bad Trump is.
God.
Like, that's the thing, is like Trump is really, really bad.
What's
you have to admit
happening?
that, right?
What do you think that someone who lives in a blue state that wants to get rid of Trump, what are the things that they can be doing right now, whether it's to help Biden or to do something else? What are the things that people in blue states should be doing, in your opinion?
Yeah, there's a website called notmeus.org, I think, and they've put together all of the different groups that are doing work. It's primarily everyone who's doing work right now is doing it around the election, unless you want to do local mutual aid projects. But if you want to get involved in the swing states, there's a whole bunch of groups. So you can make phone calls. There's the group I'm working with is Vote Trump Out, which is Roots Action, and those folks are canvassing Facebook, like basically spending ad money to get people to react in the swing states and then initiating conversations. So you're not safe anywhere from these contacts, but if you can do them from anywhere as well.
Now, I would like to say, on a serious note, if you want to go for down ballot races, that's going to go a long way. Because if people aren't going to go ahead and vote like for a Democrat down ballot, and they're probably going to fill in the Joe Biden thing, why wouldn't they?
I know people who aren't.
Well, he's not Trump.
No, but I know people who aren't voting POTUS and are voting down ballot. I know people who are voting green POTUS and voting down ballot Dems. I know people doing like a combination of all kinds of things.
To be honest, I don't know. I'm burnt out with this election talk. I'm just having fun.
All right. Well,
from your stream, but thanks for having me. I did a Blog Talk radio show in 2009, so this is like it's fun.
It's very chaotic. It's our first time, and I'm sure that a couple times after this, it'll be much smoother. So,
yeah, I didn't know this was happening. So that's why I may seem a little eccentric, because I didn't know.
And we're also trying to simulcast, so that brings its own issues as well. But thank you for coming on, and hopefully you can call in at another time where things are less weird than this, although it doesn't seem hugely possible. But thank you for coming on. That was Adriel Hampton, like frequent friend of the show. Loved having him on. Love talking to him.
When you say friend of the show, like what
Adriel's been on. Adriel's literally been a guest on the podcast.
Well, because there are people here that don't know what you mean by the podcast, because this is Into the Abyss. As far as I know, you've never been here before. They don't know who you are. We have a lot of people here that don't know who you are. You're bringing people in. You're setting up a phone system. You're not giving me any chance to learn the phone system. You're setting me up for embarrassment. You have the phone number on screen.
That's really brutal. Leslie, let's talk about Dolezal.
Wait, I just talked about trans.
I think they...
Oh, God.
Are you sure
there's anything wrong with that, but I've given birth twice, so just so you know. Go ahead, Brandon.
2 kids that can beat you up.
Yeah, my kids are 27 and 22.
And that's why we have kids, is so that we can beat up our enemies.
So what were you talking about, Brandon? I'm sorry.
I want to talk about academia, because this is something that we started to talk about and we got sidetracked by some of our hosts, some of our guest hosts, some of our actual hosts.
Yeah,
that started rotating around. Listen, the impersonation of Black women only comes in situations where there's clout involved. So it's usually the job of being a university professor, because you can get like an extra rung up the ladder for being a minority in one of those environments.
I wish I had known that when I went to school, because then I would have, gone in that direction. I didn't know there was any benefit to being an old Black lady.
There's
the only place that it's ever benefited me is when I got Pell Grants, and it paid to be older and black because I didn't go to college until I was in my 30s.
Well, it helps you on Twitter. It helps on Twitter. You get on Twitter.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, again, this is the Elizabeth, and I'm not even joking. This is the Elizabeth Warren thing. It's like was her entire campaign strategy was predicated upon being of Native American descent, and then Trump just exploded on that and decided, like, way before her campaign even started, when she could have just said no, she just decided to pick a fight with the president and lose. And so, like, that kind of just destroyed. But I think if she didn't lose, I think she might have had a better chance in 2020.
So, Leslie, what do you think motivates people to do stuff like that? Are they just trying to be cool?
Honestly, I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I am an old black.
You're like, I've lived it. It's not that great. Why are you guys trying?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the perks of being an old black woman is. I have no idea. I mean, the only perk that I can really see for me is I don't need butt implants and I don't need a tan. You know, I don't.
Well, here's the thing: when people grow up their entire life not having to be black, for them it's just trying on a costume. It's like, oh, I got to get my upgrade, my promotion. And so they don't know. They have no idea what being an X or Y-year-old black woman is like, because they don't have that experience.
Yes, but once they're living as a black person, my question is always, like, not the crazy person that we put on the screen at first, but like Rachel Dolezal, right. I can never say her name. Her, and then the last one that was the college professor.
Right.
What I would really love to ask both of them is, because they weren't trying to be darker. They just made their hair more ethnic.
Right.
So what I want to know, did they switch when need be?
Oh, you think it was like Spider-Man? They go and they prevent a crime, and then they rip off the costume.
But they don't have to rip off the costume. They can just, I'm not black, whenever they wanted to, because they're not. So I want to know, did they always live as a black woman, or when it was convenient, they lived as a black woman, but in places where it wasn't, did they switch back?
I have to assume, and I don't know, but I have to assume that they did not switch back and forth, just because you got to keep your social circles in check, right? So maybe if you're in a certain social circle, you don't mention your blackitude often. Like, maybe you don't do that. But once you've committed for your job to get like, I'm black, and then especially because that other woman who you're talking about, apparently she used to like bully the other black faculty members and talk about how they weren't woke enough and they were all sellouts. Well,
because she was teaching Black American Studies or some shit.
Right, yeah. She was teaching Black American Studies, and she was like bullying the other black people, talking about, you're not truly connected to our people's heritage, you fucking loser.
Now, see, that shit drives me crazy on that level, and on the level where I get people who will like quote MLK at me, and I'm like, he's my cousin. Shut up.
Yes.
Oh, Martin Luther King is your cousin. Is that correct?
Correct is my third cousin on my dad's side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you got that confirmed?
Yeah.
That's what my grandmother told me the whole time I was growing up. I mean, I have never done.
You told me about this before, and then you said it wasn't confirmed. So
because, like I said, this is what my grandmother told me the whole time I was growing up. So I don't know. You know how in the black community, Brandon,
thank you.
That people will call each other family that aren't blood. So I don't know if it was that, and they like grew up together because they knew each other. I've been to the compound when I was a kid.
Now, can you tell us what the compound is? Because that sounds like a Doom level.
It was a giant. God, I was 6. From what I remember, it was like a giant ranch, like ranch. Just a big, large area with, a huge house. There was the Eternal Flame out. I want to say, and I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but the Eternal Flame was outside in front. And then in the back, they had this fenced in area that was all wooded and it had wolves in it.
So did the wolves have names?
No. At least that I remember.
All right.
Andrea, yeah, come on. We're not naming each individual wolf.
I would, just for reference. Like, I would.
All right. Well, listen, as somebody who's from Atlanta, I do know one or two people who are distantly related to the King family. That's not science fiction or anything. It's not like the King family are royalty or anything.
And my grandmother's from Jessup, so.
Yeah.
I missed that. I'm sorry. My internet cut out.
But you know what? We have somehow made it to an hour.
Wait, before we close, and
No,
I know
we're not closing. We have 25 minutes left.
No, listen, it's fine.
We're not doing. Can someone else please call in? We got like one pre-scripted caller. Like nobody called in.
Although this is great because your viewers have really loved this content. Our viewers, they tune not so much, but they
I'm
really
used to that.
Yeah. But anyway, just it being, it's a role where you can go in and yell at people, whether it was the professorship, or whether it's, writing a book or something on your experience. But let me tell you something, Leslie, to close this.
Yes,
you're talking about a legend from your grandmother that you believed. And you know who else believed a legend from their grandmother?
Who?
Elizabeth Warren. 10 years from now, people will be like attacking you for like stolen valor, and you'll be like, damn, I didn't know, man. Can I not believe my relatives?
Well, you know what? In 10 years, I may be dead, so.
That's true.
Hey, come on now.
I'm old, remember?
Well, Andrea, the good news is in 10 years, all of us might be dead.
Well, okay, so real quick, I'm just on a if that did happen, would I inherit the show? Is it then my show, or do we turn the show off? Is it then like over?
I really think it's up to you, and you have to decide which option makes you personally more money.
Okay, I'm starting to feel weird that you guys are planning my death.
No, you're the one who's planning it. Like
I didn't plan it out
there. You said you're gonna die in 10 years, so I want to know what we're gonna be doing. I need to know.
If I can have a moment, I just like to say, Leslie, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll do more copyright music to make Andrea mad. Triggered face. All right, we love it.
Are we turning this off? Like, is this being deactivated without my consent?
No, wait.
Okay, it's not off.
Before we end this debacle of whatever the hell this was tonight.
This was a good episode. This was good.
I don't know about that, but anyway.
Your definition of good and my definition of good, completely different. Anyway, so next week,
yes,
hopefully we get the bugs out for the call-ins because we have a really cool guest.
Yeah.
I'm only going to tease it though. She's a comedian. She's a Black comedian from America who expatted to Vietnam to do stand-up.
I love that.
That's a great bio.
That's going to be dope. And I think I will. We'll see who.
Wait, and the week after that, we have a huge guest. We have, if anybody's watching Lovecraft Country.
And all of you are.
I'm not, but I will.
But you will.
That's correct.
We have the stunt double for the character Atticus/Tick.
I'm very excited, and we'll see how those shows are set up, and hopefully they
will. For sure. And to be serious, to I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. So.
And we're not going to do a post show, but if you'd like to help out
Patreon, whatever. We've got
please.
one.
Go ahead.
I also have one. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Many different people have Patreons in this. We should probably just make one for Into the Abyss. That way we don't have our funds that we generate, because this is the most popular show on the Not Safe Network. That way we don't have our funds expropriated.
Anyway, so now that you've brought that up, let's just get rid of Andrea, and we'll be the new host of the show. And we'll talk to you again.
Personally.
We'll talk to you guys again after a while.
Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone.
We're not doing after show, just so you know, and
we will, but it will not be
recorded.